Hello, 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 and welcome to The Difference Makers. I'm your host, Jacqueline Grant, and we are here for something very special. We are here on a Friday. We're here on a Friday for a special edition. This is what I'm calling a Nadia Baboo redo. We're calling this a Nadia Baboo redo because if you saw our first portion of this interview, we had a little technical issue, as technical issues do happen these days in these boxes that we're living in, these little boxes that we're living in. Technical issues do happen, but that does not stop us from bringing you great interviews, inspiration, and motivation to help you, in this case, have hot communications and cool communications utilizing not only your audio, but also your visual. So I'm wearing yellow today. I'm a little casual today for a Friday because yellow is the Pantone color of the year. So I decided to be a little cool today and little casual and see what our guest, Nadia Baboo, has to say about that. So let me bring her to the stage. Welcome, Nadia. Welcome for part 2 of your interview. You left us at a cliffhanger. You left us at a crucial point where we wanted to know more and technology kind of just took over. So share with us just a little bit of your brief history, bring us up to speed, and then we will continue forward with how we can communicate in a variety of different ways, especially as we are coming out of COVID and we are now coming back to not only going in front of people that we've not seen in a long time, but also continue the visual and the virtual communications that we are still pretty used to. So Nadia, take it away.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you so much for having me back on. I know technology is not always our friend. But yes, so just to sort of recap who I am and what brought me here is I'm an image and personal presence coach. I work mostly with women professionals and entrepreneurs over 40 because women in our demographic and this time of life, we're going through a lot of transition. And we've overcome a lot of obstacles in our lives, and we are ready now to enter the second phase of our lives and do phenomenal things because our best is still within us. And with that, I coach on personal style, communication skills, behavior, everything you need to level up your personal presence and showcase your superpowers.
I like how you said that, level up, because we were already good, but you're going to take us to new levels.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. So that's who I am and what I do. And I wanted to just make a quick comment about your yellow top. You're absolutely right with the Pantone colors. That's one of them, yellow and gray. We're pairing it with gray as the neutral. So you are on point, girl, and you look fabulous.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. And you're wearing one of the colors. You have some gray in your outfit as well. So whether it's one color, whether it's both, whether it's one or the other, we're still styling. So tell us how we can now style with our attire as we're getting back out there and style with our vocal stylings as well.
Okay, wonderful. Well, with regards to our personal style, our wardrobes are so important. We cannot neglect them because clothing speaks volumes. It's that silent messenger. And perceptions, impressions are created within the first 3 to 5 seconds of meeting someone. So that, of course, 55% of that impression is based on visual appearance. So how you look and how you behave. So I have put together my little AAA formula. And this is my way of helping my clients to remember how to dress according to their brand personality or their personal style. So the first A in your my AAA formula is to make sure that whatever you wear is attractive on you. Now, when I say attractive, I mean making sure that your clothing suits your body shape. So understanding exactly what that is, not trying to dress it for the way your girlfriend is built or anybody else is built, the way you are built, because God gave you what he gave you, and appreciate it, embrace it, and dress it accordingly. So make sure that it suits your body shape. Make sure that the colors are complementary to your skin tone, your hair color, your eye color. So if you want to wear the gray and the yellows that are on point right now, don't worry. I'm a firm believer that everybody can wear any color. It's just a matter of finding the right shade of that color for you. So there is lots of different types of yellows, and so you can find the one that suits you best. So make sure that it is attractive in the coloring as well. And then make sure that the next A is making sure that it is appropriate. Your clothing is appropriate. Now, I know a lot of ladies, as we get older, we have earned the right to wear whatever we want to wear. Okay, absolutely, absolutely. I believe that. We don't have to follow as many rules as we used to before, but I want to still encourage people to remember that there is still a certain decorum that I think we should all abide by, especially when it comes to business. So making sure that we know who our audience is, what the occasion is, and the message that we want to send with regard to that time, for that particular point in time. So make sure that your clothing is appropriate for all of those things. So for example, if you're going to present in the boardroom, then you are not going to wear what you wore to girls' night out last Saturday night. Okay, it's not appropriate. It may look fabulous on you, and you're wearing that short little mini skirt or whatever, and it looks great, but it's not the right place. So that's why people will say, but I thought you say that women can wear anything we want. Can, but there's still a decorum.
Do you want the result that you're going to get when you wear just anything?
Exactly. So that's very important. And then finally, making sure that your clothing is aligned with your personal brand. So figure out what it is what is the message you're trying to send to people. We all have a brand personality, and that's something that I also help my clients to define and then teach them how to communicate it. So say, for example, your brand style is more conservative. Your audience is more conservative. You're more classic. Maybe you are somebody who considers you want to say you're detail oriented. You are very good with systems. You dot all your I's, you cross all your T's. That's the kind of personality you have. Then you need to make sure that your clothing is speaking to that same level. Perhaps your clothing is more classic cuts, more classic styles. You need to make sure that everything is on point. There's no buttons missing. Everything's done up properly. You don't have two different earrings on. Everything is on point. Because if you are saying that you are on point and you don't miss any details in your work, then you cannot miss any details in your appearance. So it needs to make sure that you are aligned with your personal brand style. So those are the three. That's my AAA formula, a quick and easy way to remember every time you're standing in front of your wardrobe, and you're putting something on and you're looking in the mirror. Does this look attractive on me? Is it really truly flattering on me? Is it appropriate for where I'm going, who I say I am, who I'm going to be meeting? And is it aligned with my personal brand? So that's your AAA formula, and you can't go wrong.
That is a great formula. I hope everyone took notes. I'll be putting kind of a summary as a comment after this is all over, but do take your notes because Nadia has some great information for us. What else do you have to share, Nadia?
Well, after you've put yourself together, we can't just dress you up. We got to take you out now. So let's make sure that you are on point when you are communicating verbally and non-verbally to your audience. Mm-hmm. So with regards to, let's stick with our non-verbals, because again, that's 55%. It's a huge part of communication. Mm-hmm. So with your non-verbals, always remember your posture. Okay, our body language is huge. Mm-hmm. Posture is huge. it's something that I think we're all starting to lack a little bit because we're hunched over our media, right? We're hunched over our laptops and our phones, and we forget to straighten up. We forget to practice good posture. When we practice good posture, it helps us to breathe better. We think more clearer. We look more confident, and people will perceive us as that, as confident people. We also need to make sure that if you want to portray a confident body language, that you take up space. So practice, again, when you're practicing good posture, your shoulders automatically go back, they spread out, you've taken up space. Start to use your hand gestures. I know it's hard on video because we can only see so much of us, but still still use them. It helps you to communicate effectively, and also, again, helps you to take up space. When we take up space, again, it's a very commanding, confident posture. So even when you're sitting there you go. When you're sitting in a meeting, if you've got armrests on your chair, for example, rest your arms on your chair, and your elbows will go out again, and you're taking up space. And there's different energy that comes from it, which communicates a very strong, authoritative message. So if you want people to take notice and listen to you, take up space and practice.
That's a great point, actually, because I coach many people, and sometimes it comes up where in a meeting, people feel as if they aren't noticed or they are bypassed. And I know you're an expert in this when you coach your clients as well. And that's something physical that they can do without verbally making a sound. And that can not only share that energy with the rest of the room, but now it also makes you internally more confident as well.
Absolutely. It does. Mm-hmm. It does. It sounds, people think, oh, that's, it's crazy. It doesn't work, but you've got to try it. You've just got to give it a shot. And then also when you're in that, when you're in the boardroom or you're in a meeting, don't put yourself at the back. Don't put yourself, out of view of the main people, of the key people in that meeting. Make sure you are seen. Position yourself accordingly so that you can be seen, and nobody's hiding. You're not hiding behind anybody. All right, that's another way to get noticed.
Yeah, you know what I used to do, Nadia? When I was in meetings where we would have a weekly meeting with all the department heads or senior management and so forth, it was in a conference room with multiple chairs, and there were no assigned seats, but I knew where the executive director was going to sit at the head of the table. And I always tried to be as close to the head of the table as possible, because that subconsciously associates you with the authority of the head.
Yes.
So the closer that you are to the head of the table, whoever is the head or leading the meeting, the more authority you gain by association.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, it's strategic, and you're right. It's very subliminal. People don't realize, but it's strategic. And when you get in there, if you're the first person in the boardroom, into the boardroom, then just hang back for a second, unless you know exactly where that key stakeholder, where that person's seat is. Because the one thing you don't want to do is sit in that person's seat.
No, you don't want to do that.
So hang back, or if you know where it is, then don't take that seat, position yourself like you did. But, definitely don't hide. Don't hide. We only have so many opportunities available to us in life. Mm-hmm. So make sure you step up and take them. And then don't be afraid to speak up. And when you speak up, speak clearly, speak concisely. Don't start to babble on give all kinds of background unless it's asked for. Get to the point. And when you're speaking, make sure that you're speaking in a language that your audience understands. So when I say that, I don't mean whether you're speaking, English or French or Spanish or anything like that. I'm talking about using industry lingo, using, professional terminology. You have to understand what level your audience is at. Because if you, for example, I'm going to pick on the techies out there. My apologies. I love the techies. My family's full of techies. But tech people are, known for this. They start to speak. They have their own language, and they start to speak in that language. And they don't realize that it might go over our heads. So when you have to speak to the end user, then you need to bring it down to layman's terms. Don't use the terminology, that technical terminology. Find a simpler way to say what you want to say in order to effectively communicate with your audience. Not saying dumb it down, not at all, but it's a different language. So you have to figure out what that is. And then when you're in front of people who are aligned with what you're at the same level, same educational experience, you speak that same language, then you go into that lingo. But you got to be careful not to speak over people or either speak beneath people. Figure out what it is. You may have to listen a little bit before you respond.
That's awesome. That is an awesome tip to help people to know how to curtail their language for various situations, various audiences, and different circumstances. Oh, so sorry.
That's okay.
Speaking of technology, it goes awry sometimes. Siri misbehaves sometimes. But when you are talking about now being in business and you are meeting with potential clients or you're in networking situations, what tips do you have for us there?
Okay, so now that we are going to be re-entering the world, all right, if we're going to hopefully get back into some face-to-face networking events, face-to-face business meetings. And as we do, again, we're going to have to watch the protocol. Things are not going to be as they were before. No. The first thing we would normally do when we enter a room and we meet with somebody, what do you do?
Shaking of the hands is gone.
It's gone, right? We can't shake hands anymore. Or if we do, you better sanitize right afterwards. And I don't think anybody would take offense to that if you did. No. But you still have, when you walk into that room and you greet, then make sure that at least, again, watch how you walk into that room. Okay? Your body language also starts from the moment you walk in the door. So watch the way you are standing, watch the way you are walking, be focused on where you're going and who you need to speak with, and get yourself there. And then when you get there, again, a nice nod, a nice smile, speak up and introduce yourself first. Take the initiative. Don't wait for somebody to introduce themselves to you or for someone else to introduce you to someone. Take the initiative. If there's somebody you want to meet, go up and meet them. I find, it's something that a lot of us, especially us introverts, I'm an introvert. It doesn't seem like it sometimes. It's because I've done a lot of work to get myself to do things like this, like live interviews. But we will hold back sometimes and wait for opportunities or other people to start in before we take action. Don't be that person. Step up and go after what you want and say, hi there. Hi, Jacqueline. It's so nice to see you here. I follow you. I love your work. And I'm so glad. Part of the reason I came to this networking event was to meet you. My name is Nadia Baboo. Don't start going into, hi, I'm Nadia Baboo and I'm an image consultant. And it's not, no, they don't care. The best, when you're networking, it's better to listen more, talk less. All right. Learn and leave your ego at the door. Okay. This is not a time to sell. This is not a time to push any of your services or your products on anybody. It's a time to make connection. And the best way to make connection is to build that know, like, and trust factor.
Absolutely.
And the way to do that is to get the other person to talk. Find out more about them. People love to talk about themselves. So Jacqueline, I saw that you were working on this particular, I saw on your last, post on social media that you had a new project coming up. Tell me about it. What's going on? Can you?
I find when you're other focused, And as you said, people do like to talk about themselves. And when you are other focused and you're naturally inquisitive, eventually it will come around where they will say, well, what do you do? Or what are you working on? And then you'll have your opportunity and you won't be salesy.
Exactly. Exactly. So don't make it about you. You got to leave the ego at the door when you're networking, and don't try and sell. The worst thing you can do, you ever been in a networking event and there's that person who comes around with that stack of business cards and hands one out to everybody? Did I ask you for a business card? No. So why are you giving me one? I don't want this yet. Find out if there's a need, and business cards are expensive. So, find out if there is a need first. If this person is actually interested, if you're actually a good fit. It might be a waste of time. And you might have actually give this business card to somebody, and then they start to call you and you realize, wow, I really don't want to talk to this person.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So Nadia, what would you say to, let's say, one tip to a person who is just starting out in this new era of self-expression, virtually as well as in person, post-COVID or almost post-COVID, versus someone who maybe is a bit more experienced and they need to go to that next level? What would you say to each person as we close out this very informative interview with Nadia Baboo?
Well, I think my advice it's actually going to be similar for both of them, but a little different. So if you're very new to it, you need to jump in and just do it. All right. Take whatever, find out what that first step is for you. Is it setting up Zoom meetings instead of phone meetings? If you've still been on the phone with people, try setting up a Zoom meeting. It's just one-on-one. It's very similar to, how you'd be face-to-face over a coffee at Starbucks. So just think of it that way, and get yourself over that camera fright slowly, gradually. Don't come on a live interview like we are doing now when you're exposed to thousands of people. Do it as a one-on-one. And, make sure that you have to do it often as possible. Start to FaceTime your friends instead. Start to, maybe once in a while do a little video post on social media to get yourself over that fright. But you have to just take that step and do it, because this is the way it's going to be, guys.
It's not going back to the way it was.
Not going back. So I know the camera is scary, but just small steps. Do it with somebody that you trust. Do it with somebody you feel comfortable with, and then take it a little bit further. For those who want to level up and really embrace the camera for your branding, for your marketing, then I highly suggest going live. If you have not gone live yet, start to do some live broadcasts to really get you out of your comfort zone. Because with recorded video, you can hide behind editing. It's still a good thing. But if you really want to boost your confidence and get yourself really comfortable on camera, start to do some lives. It's amazing. It's scary. I know it's scary, but I started going live just over a year ago on a regular basis. I challenged myself that I would go live at least once a week. And I look back now at those initial live broadcasts and I think, ooh, that was pretty scary. But that's part of growth. And people, on social media, on video, we don't need to be perfect.
No.
That's the one piece of advice to everybody. Don't try and make it perfect, because you know what? Perfection is boring. All right. It's boring and it's not real. And again, building that know, like, and trust factor, people will like you more if you're more authentic, if you're just a real person with flaws like everybody else.
And this is a perfect example where we had you on The Difference Makers a week ago. We had some technical issues. We got to a good portion, but then about midway, we had some technical issues. And here we are doing it again. It's part 2 with Nadia Baboo. And we're just making it a great experience, and we're stretching ourselves and we're doing something different. We're not embarrassed about it. We're not saying, oh my gosh, we have to do this again. We're just making it fun, and we made it something that people could anticipate, because actually the feedback was very good, that people were looking forward to hearing what you had to say. So I made sure to bring the people what they want. Nadia Baboo. So
thank you.
go ahead.
Yeah, no, just again to say that, things happen. Things happen, and that's real life. That's real life, and we're all human. And when people see you messing up, it if they're especially if you're somebody that they admire, or they think, wow, she's got all this together, and when you mess up, it makes them feel better. Believe it or not, it's like, oh wow, she's just like me.
Exactly.
And they relax a little more, and they feel more confident about being able to achieve what they want to achieve.
Absolutely. It has been such a pleasure to have you here, Nadia. How can people get in contact with you if they'd like to know more?
Well, if you're watching this here on LinkedIn, you can definitely DM me. On LinkedIn, you can get through, contact me through my website, which is nadiababoo.com. And you can find me on all social media platforms, Facebook and Instagram, if anybody prefers those platforms. But right here on LinkedIn, please do DM me. I'd love to talk.
Great. Well, we are here. Excuse me. We are here on LinkedIn. We are here on Facebook. We are here on YouTube. So all those platforms are available for the world to see. Nadia Baboo, image consultant for women over 40. And if a gentleman should need some advice, would you help them out as well?
Of course I would. No problem.
Great. Well, thank you so very much for being here. I really appreciate it, because you make a difference to me, Nadia. Thank you so much for being here on The Difference Makers. We will see you next time on our regular time, right over there, Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific. This was a special edition, part 2 with Nadia Baboo on a Friday. So thank you so much for being here, and thank you, Nadia, for being a part of our show.
Thank you, Jacqueline.